Hey mama, if you've ever wondered, can my food allergy kid really live a normal, well-balanced life? Then you're in the right place. This is one of those questions that hits hard, right? I mean, it's something we food allergy moms think about all the time, especially at diagnosis. I still remember that moment so clearly. My mind was spinning with thoughts like, wait, does this mean no birthday cake? No cookie decorating at Christmas? No pizza at sleepovers? It felt like a tidal wave of emotions because until you're in the thick of it, you don't realize just how deeply food is woven into every part of our kids' lives. It's at every event, every celebration, every little moment. Since that first diagnosis, I've revisited that question again and again, and if you're anything like me, you probably have too. So today, I'm sharing my personal stories, my real-life reflections, and the life lessons I've learned along the way. Whether you're brand new to the food allergy journey or you've been navigating it for a while, this episode is packed with insights that'll make you feel seen, heard, and hopefully a little more empowered. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's get to it. Hey food allergy mama, if you're here, you've likely experienced the scary and lonely food allergy diagnosis with your child. Unfortunately, food allergy parents aren't taught how to navigate the food allergy lifestyle, and it's easy to feel alone and discouraged sometimes. But I'm here to show you that food allergy life, it doesn't have to feel restrictive, scary, or isolated. I'm Karina, and I'm a 17-year food allergy mom and food allergy coach at Friendly Pantry Consulting. I specialize in making food allergy life safer and less worrisome for food allergy families like yours. I'm not perfect, but over 17 years, I've learned a lot the hard way, and I'm sharing the secrets and resources you won't hear anywhere else that will help you feel confident living with food allergies faster and easier than I did. From introducing allergens, travel, navigating school, and educating friends and family, this podcast will give you the essential tips and strategies you need to help your food allergy child and family thrive. Welcome to the show. Have you signed up for the free Food Allergy Kids Empowerment Guide yet? This is for parents of food allergy kids aged 2 to 9, and it's a list of skills to teach your child as they grow and become more independent. Not only will you get a checklist of skills, but you'll get fun ways you can teach your child these skills in everyday life. If you haven't already, go to the show notes to grab that guide for free ASAP. Can you picture this? Hannah is 6 years old. She's a joyful kid who likes school, especially playing at recess and special games. Today, Hannah noticed that her best friend Arya brought cupcakes to school. Now, Hannah saw that Arya loves the same kind of cupcakes that she does, which she knows is one more reason they are best friends. She notices her favorite Disney character on top of each perfectly decorated light pink and blue cupcake topped with sprinkles. She's looking forward to the creamy, sweet frosting, and she can't help but jump up and down in anticipation of this special treat. Except when the time comes, Hannah is not allowed to eat the cupcake. Her teacher reminds her that because of her food allergy, it's not safe. Hannah remembers her allergy, and the reminder of her reality sinks in. She doesn't want her body to break out in itchy, ugly hives. She doesn't want to feel sick and throw up, and she especially doesn't want to faint or have a problem breathing, so they have to use her epinephrine in front of everybody in her class. So she sticks with the same safe treat she gets every time, even though Arya's special treat would have been the bright spot of her day. She desperately holds it in so her friends can't see, but Hannah's excitement turns into full-on disappointment and sadness. By the end of the day, when Hannah sees her mom in the school pickup lane, she finally spills her tears, each one representing exclusion, isolation, and a feeling of being different. Man, that story hits me hard because I wrote it based on my own daughter's story after a really hard day at school. I still remember that day clearly because I knew something was up when she had tears in her eyes at the pickup lane. I could tell she had just been barely holding them in, and she couldn't do anything to keep them from falling once she reached the safety of our car. That experience taught me something important. Before this, I felt good leaving my girl at school because her teacher had a nut allergy herself, and I knew that the teacher would know how to keep her safe. But that day was the day that I realized I needed to fight for her inclusion as well as for her safety. Here's what I mean by that. My daughter was in grade 1 when this happened, and up until that time, her teachers were pretty good with food allergies. Most of them had some sort of experience, and one of them had a son with food allergies, and the current teacher had an allergy herself. Now, as a side note, my daughter continued on in school, and I felt that teachers got less and less familiar with food allergy safety as she got older. It was something I had to teach them every year. So if your child is in school, I have so many school-related podcasts and I recommend listening to them. What I learned that day was that to an elementary school kid, watching your friends eat a treat that you can't have is really, really hard. So if I wanted my daughter to have a more normal life at school, things needed to change because birthday treats happened almost once per week. And if it's not a birthday treat, there would be other celebrations, and it was often, more often than I ever realized. But I just want to stop right there because I know there's going to be some people who are going to come at me saying, I need to prepare her for the real world because people are not going to cater to her in the real world. And what I have to say to that is that basically food allergy kids already experience exclusion everywhere. It's everywhere, in every event, from kids' sports to church and everything in between. So exclusion is more the norm than the exception. So for us food allergy families, I think we just want to create even just 1 or 2 places where our kiddos can be included and do things just like everyone else. They are getting enough preparation for the real world, and they don't need to constantly feel left out to be prepared for that. So that day, I learned that I not only needed to advocate for her safety, but also her inclusion at school too. And that was a big aha moment for me. Another moment in time when I wondered if my food allergy kid would have a normal, well-balanced life was around grade 2 to 3 during birthday party season. Okay, if you are an elementary school parent, you know what birthday party season is, and it starts in September and goes until after Halloween. But during this time, your kid gets invited to what feels like a million birthday parties. Not to mention the Halloween parties and the social events that come during the holidays after that time. I remember sitting on our stairs that go from the main floor to the upper floor, and I was reading yet another text from a mom who was inviting my daughter to another birthday party. Now, I loved that she was getting invited, don't get me wrong, but I felt overwhelmed. I desperately wanted her to be able to go, but I was getting burnt out by educating every single host so that they would know how to keep her safe while she was there. It felt draining to constantly explain yet again that my daughter needed different food from everyone else and to figure out all the logistics of what food she would have and then teaching the mom how to use the epinephrine and all those things that she needed to know. As I sat there, I thought there has to be a better way, which is when I figured it out. Why don't I just reuse a really good birthday party response so that I can save myself time and effort? So that's what I did. And one of my first templates was born. So if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know how important I think templates are for food allergy moms and families. You can use them in so many situations to make those draining, overwhelming situations easier to manage. I talk about it specifically in episode number 6, so if you haven't already listened to that, definitely check it out. So that is one of the RSVP templates that I created, and of course I've tweaked it a lot since then, and I've had feedback from other moms and tested it over years and years. If you want this tried and true template that's done for you, that I've perfected over many years for all kinds of social events, you can actually get them in my social event survival pack. This pack will help you explain food allergies easily and clearly so that people understand how serious they are and they know how to help you manage them. I'll post the link in the show notes for that. So in addition to figuring out the magic of RSVP templates, I've learned that it is possible to teach others to care for your kids when you're not there. Now, there's a couple caveats. It's important that the host really understands the severity of allergies, and they need to have a really open mind and a cooperative attitude. But your child can celebrate birthdays and other events with their friends just like all the other kids. Another moment where I wondered if my child would be able to live a normal life was before her grade 9 overnight camp, where she actually flew with her school to a camp in British Columbia and stayed there for 3 or 4 nights. So we live in Alberta, Canada, and she got to go with her whole grade 9 class as a group to Vancouver Island. I honestly worried about this trip for a while because it felt like it might be hard for my daughter to go because not only did she need to be really careful about what she ate, but she also needed to do her OIT protocol as well. So if you're not familiar with OIT, there are certain requirements where you can't exercise or increase your heart rate or sleep, and she has to be supervised for 1 to 2 hours after taking her dose. So it was really important that her teacher understood the protocol and took it seriously. And at first, I didn't think it would work for her to join in. I felt so nervous because this was the first time she would be away from us overnight. Yes, we have blessed her with a lot of travel experience as a family, so going on a plane and all the travel stuff was not new, but it was the first time that she was looking out for herself and she didn't have us around for her treatment. But after thinking about it and talking with my daughter, we decided to find a way to make it work. So a couple of months before the camp, we met with her teacher and the principal and we created a plan. This plan was for traveling to and from camp. It was for all the activities at camp. For example, she went on a whale watching boat and she needed a special snack for that day. So we made a plan that she would bring that snack with her. And when she would take her OIT dose, we made a plan for how the teacher would watch her without singling her out too much. Now, don't get me wrong, at the time, everything felt overwhelming and kind of scary. But slowly, after our meetings and many emails, and once I know she had a team that would help keep her safe, and they really understood how important it was, I felt so much better. I think it was the process of creating her plan together with the teacher and the principal that we became more courageous because we could tell they were taking things more seriously. And what I learned from this is that sometimes we have to start scared. Once we get a plan in place, our courage comes, but it may not feel possible in the beginning. Of course, there are still times when things won't work and we can't beat ourselves up for that, but this can frankly happen with any kid. They can't always go on everything. Food allergies are not. But what I want to point out is that food allergies do not have to hold your child back from everything. It is possible. So even though you never stop wondering whether your child will have a normal life with food allergies, I want you to know that number one, learn from those ahead of you in the journey, get that encouragement and practical advice and use it. And number two, where there is a will, there is a way. Yes, experiences with food allergies, no matter what it is, are going to look different and they will need accommodations and effort from you and your child and their caregivers. But usually it can be done. Your child can experience the same things the other kids experience. What do you think? Can food allergy kids have a normal, well-balanced life? Send me a quick DM on Instagram and let me know your thoughts. My handle is @friendlypantry. If you found this episode helpful, please leave a 5-star review. This is the only way that I know you like the podcast, and it helps other food allergy families find it. Thanks for listening, and bye for now. Before you go, Mama, if you love this episode and want deeper support, head over to friendlypantry.com to see how we can partner together to keep your food allergy child safer and worry less. There's no need for wasting time searching all over Instagram, TikTok, and the web to get the practical knowledge you need for your family. While you're there, grab your free Food Allergy Kids Empowerment Guide or the newly diagnosed checklist today. Topics are not medical advice and are the opinions, views, and property of Friendly Pantry Consulting Incorporated. All rights reserved. Always contact your board-certified allergist, immunologist for health advice.